A pleasant good evening and welcome to SAT TV's Channel 9 Evening News. I am Nisha Charles.
And I am Deslin Joseph.
And we are your presenters for the evening. Thank you for joining us. Among the major developments, deserving students receive scholarships from First Domestic Insurance.
Barbados to host African Diaspora Heritage Trail Conference.
Hundreds of millions without power in India.
And in sports, Fidel Edwards has replaced Ravi Rampal in Test against New Zealand.
Details of these and other stories after the break.
SAT Telecommunications Ltd is the official rights holder and broadcaster of the 2012 London Olympic Games.
Support local, support SAT Telecommunications Ltd, the people's choice. Join hands with us. Come and sign up for your digital TV connection today. We got the sharpest, cleanest, brightest digital TV connection. No antiquated analog service, only pure digital and many new packages coming soon. With latest in sports, movies, children programming and much more. So if you have your flat screen TV and you want to see quality TV, join now. Sign up today for your digital television. Support local, support SAT Telecommunications Ltd, the people's choice.
SAT Telecommunications Ltd is the official rights holder and broadcaster of the 2012 London Olympic Games.
Thank you for staying with us. Now for the details of the news. The 3rd Maho Scout Troops 32nd Anniversary Award Ceremony was held at the Maho Primary School grounds on July 29th. Dr. Valda Henry says the motto "Be Prepared" is something she has always mentioned in her public speeches. Dr. Henry says if the Scouts took their promises and laws to heart, then youth delinquency would not be issues.
Youth delinquency would not be an issue. Problems of corruption in our wider society would not be an issue. Because the truth is, if we were Scouts as children and even as young adults, we would carry those things with us in adulthood and exhibit it in every aspect of our life. But the central premise of the Scouting movement speaks about honor, a Scout honor.
She goes into further details and explains what a Scout order is.
And what is a Scout's honor? In short, the Scout's honor is his word. So that when you say something, you must mean what you say. It goes almost to the old parlance that you can take this to the bank. It means if you say yes, your yes is a yes. And if you say no, your no is a no. There is no ambiguity in being a good Scout. There is no ambiguity in being a Scout at all. And in fact, by just looking at the promise and just truly taking it in, because it's more than just reciting, it's more than just knowing, it is living. A Scout is called to live that promise. A Scout is called to display the Scout laws in every aspect.
Dr. Henry believes that Maho consists of many young persons and she thinks that they need to come forward.
I know Maho has many, many more young persons. I think this year, as part of your activities in being prepared, you must go out and bring in the numbers. I think this year is a call for you in your duty or to others to lead them to the right way, to lead them to a new path, a new direction. Because when you walk from Maho or you drive from Maho, lots of young people on the streets idle by. I think that is really a project I really need time myself for, because that's something that I keep speaking about often. I say to you, Scouts, Troop of Maho, 3rd Maho Scout Troop, let this year be a membership drive, and in fact that is one of the strategies of the Scout movement. Let your membership drive be on a high to bring in much more.
She says it is significant that the Scouts troop set the correct example that others can follow.
The All Saints University held a health fair on Saturday, 28th July on the school grounds. It was all in an effort to help students of All the Saints University refresh their skills as student doctors and to give back to the Dominican public. The fair was coordinated by the American Medical Student Association, AMSA. Daniel Mangle, Vice President of AMSA, says, This is something they like to do to give back to the people of Dominica.
Basically what we have a bunch of booths for Dominican people to come to check their health. We have a blood pressure station, we have a station for blood glucose, BMI, which is the body mass index, and visual acuity. And it's just a free checkup that we're doing for the people of Dominica, and really appreciate all the cooperation we've had with Dominica and all the participation and everybody that's come here and done everything. And I think it's very important to get checked up once in a while. So I think health-wise, it's a win-win situation for everybody.
He says that this fair helps the students to practice a lot what they have learned, and in turn will get significantly better at what they do.
Well, for them, for example, like, I mean, if you look at somebody who's taking blood pressure, it's just a great gift. It's just a great thing. It's just a great experience because, you know, repetition is the key. So if you give blood pressure, if you take the blood pressure of, like, you know, 10, 20 patients, you get really good at it, all those kind of things. And the blood glucose, BMI, and the vision test and all those kind of things, it's just a great experience, and it's for them, and it's good practice. So it helps them become a better doctor.
Usually, AMSA conducts health fairs every semester, and they hope to continue to do so to strengthen relationships with Dominica.
Like I said before, it's our way of giving back to the Dominican people, and it's just great. It's a win-win situation for Dominica, and it's a win-win situation for All Saints, and we greatly appreciate all the participation of the Dominican people.
Participants were able to check their blood pressure, glucose levels, vision, body mass index, and have a little education class on your sexual health.
In recognition of the 5th anniversary of the Independent Regulatory Commission, the IRC, Dominica's regulator for the electricity sector, the management of the organization has launched a week of activities which commenced on Monday, July 30th. The IRC's PNC Relations Manager, Ms. Mara Etienne Manley, says this is a time when they take a look at the history of the Commission and reflect on the achievements over the past 5 years. Ms. Manley pointed out that the IRC has been through many challenges and hurdles, especially during the start, as they were seen as the new kid on the block.
Despite all the setbacks, the IRC was able to pursue its mandate and made considerable changes to Dominica's electricity sector, guided by its former and current commissioners, who acquired in the process a wealth of regulatory knowledge and experience. Over the past 5 years, the IRC established rules and guidelines which allow for consistency, predictability, and transparency in the regulation of electricity supply in Dominica.
Ms. Manley lists some of the changes that have been made.
The establishment of the procedures for adding new electric capacity to the national grid, the establishment of procedures for handling complaints by Domlec's customers, the establishment of the quality service standards for the electricity sector, and the establishment of a tariff regime for setting tariffs for Domlec, among others.
The Commission paid tribute in the form of a photo gallery to 11 former and current commissioners who made substantial contributions to the IRC during their terms in office, some of which are Mr. Curtis Tom, the first chairman of the IRC, who served from 2007 to 2008, Mr. Carl Duncan, Mr. Eliud Williams, current chairman of the IRC, and Mr. Francis Paul, among others. IRC's Executive Director, Mr. Lance McCaskey, says that the IRC came into commission with the appointment of the first set of commissioners in June of 2007 with the task of regulating the electricity sector of Dominica.
Over the last 5 years, what the IRC has been doing is putting in place what we call a regulatory framework so that Dominicans and those who are willing to invest in electricity from overseas in Dominica would know what the rules and guidelines governing electricity in Dominica.
He said during the last 5 years, the IRC has established roles to promote consistency, predictability, transparency, all in the effort to safeguard the environment of Dominica.
One of the remits of the IRC is to ensure that the consumers of electricity in Dominica receive the best quality electricity at fair and reasonable prices. From 2008 onwards, we have been working with Dominica to ensure that the quality of electricity improves.
Mr. McCaskey said that the IRC had a very fruitful 5 years of operation and is looking forward to replicating its successes in the future. Some of the activities for the IRC's anniversary include a community walk as part of the public awareness campaign and an exhibition held on Tuesday, July 31st. Wednesday, August 1st, we'll have a seminar for electricians at the Fortune Hotel from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., in addition to an exhibition at the IRC's Documentation Center, a children's quiz on a local radio station, which will be held on Thursday, August 2nd, and an exhibition at the IRC's Documentation Center. All exhibitions are open to the general public and start at 9 a.m. and ends at 3 p.m. There will also be an essay competition for secondary school students at the end of August.
Saturday, July 28th saw the 34 quarter-finalists of the Q95 Talent Search 2012. They wowed the crowd with their voices to well-known songs of the Caribbean. The men gave it their all when they gave their recognition of Pump Me Up by Crossfire. The women fired back with their Take It On, In Your Eyes. The contestants introduced themselves and asked the general public to come down to the Bayfront on August 4th to support them at the show.
My name is Rachel Baptist. I live at Pelton Road, Southbank, and you should definitely vote for me. Text RSCHAEL or RSCHEL to number 795. You won't regret it. Thank you.
Come to the Bedford Lodge next week Saturday, and you should definitely vote for me, RHEA, to 795. Thank you.
It's in Harlem City, Jam Rock, Newtown. Yours truly, Curry Bertrand. If you love me, call me Creamy. That's right. Vote for me, 795, text KAREEM, and come support us next week Saturday, 4th August on the Bayfront. Thank you.
And then there was a competition on who could break it down.
All your wine, alright. And let us get them mad, cause they want every dime. Cause funny baby, broke it
First Domestic Insurance Company has been providing the secondary schools with scholarship for many years. The FDIC Scholar is awarded to valued customers to help them meet the expenses related to the cost of their children's education. Once granted, it is the duty of the student to keep their scholarship by maintaining a minimum average of 65%. Each year, at least 10 young Dominicans will benefit from the FDIC Scholarship. FDIC scholars are chosen not only for their academic achievements, but for their character and their attitude to work. This year, 2012, FDIC will be awarding 5 new scholarships and continuing with at least 6 others, giving a total of 11 scholarships to worthy applicants. The new scholars are Janelle John Baptist, who will be attending the Castlebridge Secondary School,
think it's going to help you in the education? You think you're going to do well? Right. Thank you.
Alliance T. St. Rose will be attending the Convent High School. Nima Hector will be attending the Goodwood Secondary School. Nina Corriett will be attending the Convent High School.
My name is Nina Corriett. I'm going to attend the Convent High School this fall.
Now you've just received a scholarship from First Domestic. Tell us how you feel about that.
And First Domestic staff member Miss Nadia Laville. Nima Hector parents had this to say.
I'm so happy that she could receive the scholarship from First Domestic. It would help, I and her mother along with, it would help us to go along with to Senate High School, to assist us to Senate High School. I'm happy once again with First Domestic for granting us a scholarship.
Alliance St. Rose's mom also gave her views on her daughter's performance.
I'm very elated to be as a policy holder and my daughter received to get First Domestic scholarship as well. I've been a policy holder of First Domestic for the past 10 years and I'm really so grateful to First Domestic for selecting my daughter as one of the recipients. Mom gave it to us for a long time. Like a single parent. My daughter's dad died 2 weeks before she was born, so I appreciate all of it. So I'm really thankful.
And in court news, one young man can consider himself lucky after facing Roseville Magistrate Candia George at the Magistrate Court on Tuesday, July 31st. Hassani Austria of Trafalgar was slapped with 5 charges after an incident which occurred in his village of Trafalgar on Sunday, July 29th. The charges are resisting arrest, obstruction of an officer while executing his duty, 2 malicious damage charges, and battery on a police officer. According to the facts of the case, read by Police Prosecutor Inspector Claude Weeks, at about midday on Sunday, July 29th, police officers from the Investigations Department were on patrol in the village when the defendant was spotted with a marijuana cigarette. The officer identified himself and asked Mr. Austrie what it is that he had, which he then replied, and I quote, "That's a joint," end quote, before running off and destroying the joint while running. Mr. Austrie was met later that day, where he was informed of the offense and charged, then was cautioned, which he said, "Officer, I did not do nothing." Things took a turn for the worse when the handcuffs were being placed on the defendant as he started fighting back and resisted being arrested by Constable Peter Kay of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force, causing damage to the officer's uniform, but was subdued and brought to the Roseville Police Station. In mitigation, the defendant said that the officer never asked him for anything and he was running, then grabbed him. Magistrate George said to the defendant that he must respect all police officers, whether in plain clothes or uniform, as the officers are here to protect us. Mr. Austrie was spared from jail time, as the magistrate indicated that his last offense was in 2005 and he has been staying away from trouble. He was fined $500 for obstruction, which has to be paid by September 30th, 2012, or spend 1 month imprisonment. Also $500 for resisting arrest, which is to be paid by October 31st, 2012, or sentenced to 2 months in prison. For malicious damage of the police officer's shirt, which is property of the state, he was ordered to pay compensation by way of $211.50 no later than August 31st, or face 1 month imprisonment, and also compensation of $90 to Officer Kimani Peters to replace his reserve black t-shirt, which was also damaged, by Friday, August 10th, or in default spend 2 weeks in prison. There was no separate penalty for the charge of battery on a police officer. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.
SAT Telecommunications Ltd is the official rights holder and broadcaster of the 2012 London Olympic Games.